Hi, everybody. You are here to attend the webinar series organized by PA, SUSS, and Sports SG. My name is Kalyani Mehta, and I am your host for this afternoon's webinar. The guest today is Ricky Law, founder of Nation for Future Seniors and Sunshine Seniors. Ricky will share his views on mindset change, which is particularly relevant for seniors like you and me. We will have some discussion on senior role models. And I think, Ricky, are you ready? I can hand over the time to you now.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I'm really pleased to be here to share some of my thoughts and thinking for your consideration. So after my short sharing, we can have a Q&A so that I can learn from you and also we can learn from each other. So give me a minute, let me share the slide and I will share about 15-20 minutes and we will see each other again. Give me 1 second. Sorry, it's the wrong deck. Let me go on it. Okay, I hope you can see my slide. I will enlarge my slide and I will do a little bit of the sharing before we have the Q&A. Okay, here we go. So my name is Ricky F.M. Law, as introduced by the professor. I'm the founder of Nation for Future Seniors and Sunshine Seniors. I'll explain what we are later. One of the things is that I wanted to start the sharing is we need to know who we are. There are 1.3 billion of us meaning seniors globally. And we contribute US 15 trillion to the global market. So we have the number, right? When you look at China, it's 1.3 billion. India is a little 1.34, 1.4. So we are probably the third largest nation in the world with all seniors gathered together. And we have the spending power. We affect 15 trillion US dollars to the global market. So that is, I just want to set the framework of who we are or where we are or what are we holding. Okay, so that is one of the basic reference that I want you to be aware of. Now, we seniors have four assets, namely knowledge, experience, network, and time. We'll explain them, I'll explain them very quickly later. Knowledge, if we are over 50 or 60 years old, we have several decades of working knowledge. Experience, together with knowledge, we have ups and downs, we have success, we have failure, we see a lot of stuff, be it good, be it bad. We have all kinds of experience that we can share with the young. Network, we have our group of acquaintances, our group of colleagues, and our group of friends and buddies that we can call on together and leverage their help. Obviously, we have time. After we retire from work, we have the time. Instead of sitting idle, we can do a lot of stuff. Now, how are we going to do that? We can share a little bit later. So let me share some actual stories talking about the knowledge, experience, network, and time. Now, one of the things is a kind of 25 years old who is running a startup called me saying that, Ricky, one of my staff is not performing. I want to fire him, but I don't know how. I said, oh, okay, you don't know how to fire a staff and you're the boss. So I chit-chatted with her for about 15 minutes, sharing all the do and don'ts and all what are the possible consequences of firing a staff. 2 days later, the lady called me saying thank you to me and said, Ricky, I have fired the staff amiably. Both parties feel good and there's no antagonism, there's no anger on both sides. I was pleased, right? That's one thing our knowledge can help. Another thing is how to talk to the HR manager. Another young lady came to me. She is pregnant, but she didn't tell the boss yet because she was on a temporary work basis. And the contract will expire in 3 weeks. So she called me and said, Ricky, should I tell the boss that I'm pregnant? She's a little bit afraid of, she really doesn't know how the management respond to a pregnant contract staff. She probably heard quite a bit of the sad story about a pregnancy staff. So I gave her the name, saying that, well, call this lady. This lady is my HR director, working together for about 15 years. So she has been in the market for 20 years. So the young lady called her, and within 3 days, the young lady called back saying, Ricky, I know how to talk to my boss now. A week later, she got a job, which is a permanent contract, and she's so happy. So these are just two stories about knowledge and experience. You have your own knowledge and experience, right? You may be a chef, you may be an engineer, you may be a clerk, you may be a senior manager. You could be any person within any specific post. You have the knowledge, you have the experience. Now, how are we going to manage the time? Another true story. We're a 65-year-old lady who created a Facebook group at the beginning of the circuit breaker because she has time, and she said, well, why don't I take the time and create a Facebook? She learned it. She was afraid at the beginning to touch on this button or that button, but doesn't matter. Just press on it. In a few weeks, she accumulated 500 members during the CB period for the new Facebook group. That was tremendous achievement. She was so happy that she bought a bottle of wine and celebrated with her friends. She told me. So that's really some of the story that I really want to share with you. True story. We have the knowledge, experience, we have the time, and also we have the network. So for your consideration. Now, I did a survey before I share with this group. So how do seniors feel about the circuit breaker? Now, when you look at the word crowd, most of them are very positive phrases and words. I love that, right? Talk about love, excited, opportunities, connected, we think, learning, and in the Chinese, talking about recharge, talking about being thankful, talking about managing the stuff. Of course, there are a little bit negative feeling now. We cry about that one. And well, I think that is the only negative feeling I see, cry. Right? So it's really good that with this a kind of a small survey within the Sunshine Senior Group, we see that the positive energy within the senior are all there. That is very, very good. Now, I would like to share with you some of the events that we can do. I used to play ping pong on every Saturday morning. Right now, I can't play ping pong, right? So our ping pong group is saying, hey, why don't we go out for dinner? I said, go out for dinner? What are you talking about? I said, well, if we cannot go out, we can have the dinner in the air. So we log on a conference tool at 8 p.m. We all log on the conference tool and we show each other what are we having on dinner. You said, on that evening in the middle, you'll see me with the spectacle. I was having the roasted chicken with fried rice. The one on the left is a couple talking about the Chinese dish. The other one is drinking and thing. So we can be creative in still having dinner, chit chat, and we also cheers in the air. I love drinking beer, and some of my ping pong members also like drinking. So you see some are drinking health drink, some are drinking tea, some are drinking soda drink. So we lasted for an hour or so. That is one of the way thing that, well, yes, we cannot control the circuit breaker, right? Because of the macro safety, because we have to support the government and we have to be socially responsible, not to going out trying to reduce the number of infected cases in Singapore. But we cannot control that, but we can manage what we cannot control. That is, we can manage the time, we can manage the event within home. That is one example that you can be of reference to. Now, you can manage or you can conduct your dinner in the air, coffee in the air, cooking in the air, whatever in the air, if you are aware of how to use a conference tool online. It's not that difficult. If you do not know, maybe the younger members in your family know how to download a conference tool. Most of them are free, and you can do whatever you want in the air or singing in the air, up to you. So let me share 2 examples of how seniors, we always say that seniors are a little bit lagged, a little bit behind on the social media there. So I just want to share with you some example. If we have the will, we can do it. Now that is in UK. So that is a 74-year-old lady talking about, I used to see how it's like using WhatsApp. I wonder what is it about. After she tried it and said, well, I discovered it's not that difficult. It's easy. So that is what she said. Her book club, which has been going for 10 years, had just had its first Zoom meeting. Zoom is the conference tool, which is now we are using Zoom. It was lovely to get it again and feel that we can keep on going. There's no wine and cheese on the table, of course. Well, you can still have wine and cheese in the air if you adapt the dinner in the air concept. It's not as much fun when you are virtual, but we are discussing a book we all really enjoyed. And apart from a few hitches, like some people string freezes, well, tech is tech, right? Sometimes technology really hiccup. It was really, really satisfying. So don't worry about your age. Your age is only a number we cannot control. Because like me, Ricky, I'll be growing 1 year older by the year. I cannot control that, but I can control how I live my life. Right? So never too old to cope. Meet Japan 82-year-old lady who do an app because when she searched on the App Store, there's nothing for the senior. She said, no, I'm going to do it myself if you do not do it for us seniors. So she created a game. Of course, it takes her longer time than usual. It doesn't matter. We have time, right? We can work 1 hour a day. Then within a week, we'll be going to do a coding. I'm not suggesting you need to learn coding. No, I'm only suggesting, showing you examples, saying that, well, there are ways that we senior can enjoy technology, can enjoy digital. We cannot control what we can't control what we cannot control what we can't control, but we can manage how we enjoy aging. That is the message that I want to share with you. Now, that is interesting, right? So one of the things is we have to know who we are. Remember the first slide? We have 1.3 billion in the world. We control about 1.7 trillion US dollars. Well, that is the background. Now coming back to us, so who are we? We are seniors, probably we are retired from work, and then we have a lot of time and things. Now, I'm asking you 2 questions. One, do you feel that you are a bottle of expired milk with an expiration date? Well, so you are an expired milk. If you feel that, we will feel that we deserve to be abandoned, right? Expired milk, I mean, what's the use? What's the value of an expired milk? We cannot drink it. We cannot use it for cooking. It just sit there. People throw them away. So if you feel that you are a bottle of expired milk, then your sell price will be low. But how about that? Looking at it from another angle, talking about, hey, when you talk about wine, right? The aged, the better. When you talk about the age-old wine, it's much, much more expensive than a new wine. So if we feel that we are a vintage wine, remember we've got 4XX, so we're a vintage wine with 4XX, then we have value. When you open a bottle of vintage wine, we share. Normally, we don't drink a bottle of wine all by myself, except sometimes you are bored, you are sad, but I don't do that. I always drink with friends. Wine always go with happiness for me and social gathering for me, not loneliness, not sadness. Well, that's for me, for your consideration. So we are now, we'll be doing a poll, and I will stop sharing, and the team will help me to send out a poll. I'll give you about 20 seconds. You tell me, after my short sharing, who do you think you are? Are you a bottle of expired milk to be abandoned? Or are you a bottle of vintage wine, the aged, the better? So I'll stop sharing, and I may trouble the to share the poll. So you can see the poll there, right? So I'll stop sharing. You can see the poll there, right? So please do the poll. I cannot vote. And the host cannot vote. So let me see what about 20 seconds. But sorry, I pressed the wrong button. So this is the hiccup again. So let's wait for around about 20 seconds. And whether you are a bottle of wine, if you see me, whether you're a bottle of wine or a bottle of expired milk, wine or expired milk, okay? So vote, and in another maybe a few more seconds, we will show you whether most people feel they are wine or most people feel that they are a bottle of milk. So will you please share the poll with us? Wow, 100% vintage wine. Yeah. That is what I want to see. Thank you so much. Now, if you vote that 100% vintage wine, then we should act like vintage wine. Okay? So I will stop my short sharing here, and I'll pass it back to the host, to Professor, and we can conduct a little bit of Q&A. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ricky. I would like to say that there are some who did not take part in the poll, I think, because we have 49 participants, but 31 answered the poll. So I think some may be still wondering whether to vote for the expired milk or for the vintage wine. But tell me, and this is for everyone who is present here, is vintage wine something that we take easily into our cultural background? Or do you think that perhaps stout may be more like it if you compare to what is taken commonly in Singapore, or maybe some other kind of drink? So I want to open up this discussion for everyone to take part. Now is the time when you can unmute yourself if you want, or you can pose your question on the chat box. So let's have a lively discussion this afternoon. Meanwhile, in answer to Ricky's question about what we do during the circuit breaker, I would like to share a little bit about I try to have a routine to my day. And because I am a professor at Singapore University of Social Sciences, I'm working 3 days a week. So I plan those days as if I was working in my office, but working from home. Then, of course, spending time with family, watching TV, and listening to my favorite songs from yesteryears. So these are the things I enjoy doing during the circuit breaker period. So let's open up for questions now, and let me see whether anybody has a question to ask. So some people are saying, of course, wine. Wine is for celebration. Yes, that's true. So maybe wine appeals to most of us. But I also need to get you to think a little bit harder. What else is needed in a celebration? Anybody? Friends and family, yes. Some more? What else? Victoria, do you want to unmute yourself and maybe add some of your viewpoints? Is Victoria willing to come out and speak? Hi, Victoria. Yes, food, you need positivity. Hi, Eleanor, do you want to unmute yourself and maybe explain what you mean by positivity? You need to unmute yourself first. Don't be shy. Now is the time for everyone to take part. I like this, Laihan. Laihan says you need the heart. What do you say to that, Ricky? Very important, right? To have feelings and emotions when you celebrate with friends and family.
Well, in my opinion, the vintage wine, it's just a teaser, it's just the beginning. If we feel that we are more the vintage wine, then a lot of activity, a lot of positivity will come on, right? When you look at vintage wine, as I said, normally you share with a bottle of vintage wine, you won't drink a bottle of vintage wine all by yourself. And when you drink it with your friends, you're talking about heart-to-heart conversation. You're also talking about good food, right? You need food to go with the friend there. Now, when you have the bottle of wine, when you have the good friends, when you have the good food, you will talk about good deeds. You will talk about things. Well, some project may popping up, some sharing may be there, some issue and problems among the friends may be solved because of this kind of communication. So just imagine if each and every one of senior or people of older age really feel that they are vintage wine. All the positivity will be there. All will be sharing. All will be communicate. From that, we try to lower the degree of isolation, to lower the degree of loneliness. If you are not feeling lonely, if you are not feeling isolated, hopefully you become healthier. Healthier meaning you see doctor less, where doctor may not like it, income may fall for them. But as a whole, the medical of the condition of the senior will be increasing. And when you look at the news, one worrying factor from the government or from the general public at large is the medical cost by the older adults. So if we can do it a little bit harder on ourselves, exercise a little bit more, we are vintage wine, we share, we talk, we don't keep things to ourselves, we seek help, we seek out for help, hopefully on an energy level we're there and we will be healthier. That is what vintage wine as a teaser at the beginning to lead to all these kinds of good things.
Yes, so I was posing the question, what if there is no wine at home and you are encouraged not to go out, right? Seniors, stay home. Seniors, you're vulnerable. Please take care of yourself. So somebody said, we evolve. So maybe you evolve and get something else that you have in your home, right? So anything, it could be juice, it could be green tea, or it could be just enjoying yourself with your family. It is equally joyful, right? To have family with you. Somebody said, stop complaining, figure out how best to adjust. Oh, somebody says water, very healthy. Yeah, you're right. In fact, when all the family members are together over a meal, what do you talk about, right? Do you share your stories from the past? Do seniors enjoy that time when people are not stuck to their handphones and maybe they have more time to look at each other's faces and actually appreciate, this time. And believe me, this time will not come again for a very, very long time. So actually, it's a very precious opportunity to catch up with friends over WhatsApp or catch up with your grandchildren, if you have grandchildren at home, to actually share your own stories about when you were a child. So I will stop talking here and see whether we have any more people who want to join in the conversation. Is Carol there? Carol, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you have a question for us or for Ricky?
I want to ask you both, how can you keep yourself so positive? Can you share with us any tips that we can keep ourselves positive?
Okay, Ricky, you want to start?
Let me share my personal approach to life and and challenges, right? So take the circuit breaker. So first of all, when I look at the circuit breaker, I always approach, whether it's my personal approach, see whether it is of value to the people on the call, and if it is of value, then you can try it. I always approach an event or an issue or a challenge from the attitude perspective, from the mindset perspective. So I'll say that, well, the circuit breaker is here. So what is it? I mean, why the circuit breaker is introduced? What is behind the circuit breaker? So once you understand the reason behind something, your emotion may be a little bit less emotional or a little bit more rational. I'll give you two cases, right? One, when you are aware of the circuit breaker, if it is an emotional opponent saying that, hey, what's happening there? I mean, why am I locked down? I mean, I want to go out. It's my life. I'm an active senior. Why should I do that? Why are you causing me inconvenience? If you approach it like that, then you probably shut yourself from some of the reasoning, some of the rationale behind the event there. But if you understand a little bit better of why the event is being introduced, I'm not saying that you are still emotional neutral. I am not emotional neutral. I cannot play ping pong. Right? I'm kind of staying at home. The emotion is still there. We are human beings. But if we approach it from a mindset change, from an attitude change, understand the reason why first, we may agree, we may not agree to all those reasons. With that rationalization process, we try to calm ourselves a little bit down. Then we still react emotionally. Now, what is the benefit of doing that? One, when you calm yourself down, you will affect the people around you. When you are on a huge emotional state, what is happening now? I cannot go out. What are you doing? I told you not to do that. Then you take out the temper on the people around you. Those are your loved ones. Those are people who care for you. Well, that's one of my approaches to everything, not only to circuit breaker. I approach it from why, then what, then come back to me, okay, how can I deal with it? With this one, hopefully we will be able to deal with the thing that we cannot control, but we manage it well. So that is the principle saying that we cannot control what we can't control, but we can manage well what we can't control. Okay, so that is the way that I'm dealing with this one. That is one thing. The second thing is it's easier said than done. When a challenge is being approached, just like a glass of water, right? A classic example of talking about a glass of water. Is it half filled or is it half full? It goes back to how you approach the things. So if you approach the issue with all the pessimistic meeting, I cannot really solve this one. My boss will really kill me tomorrow. The circuit breakdown is coming in. I don't know what will happen. Now, with all these kind of thing, it will kind of track you down. But you feel that, okay, circuit breaker is there, but when you look at the news, most of the cases are unfortunately within the overseas foreign worker dormitory. And if you look at the community cases, it's going down and down and down. And when you look at the total number on a daily basis, it's still in the hundreds, but it's going down and down, not really over 1,000. And when you see that Singapore government is saying that, well, gradually we will loosen the CB, then you feel that, well, the future is there. Sooner or later, we will pick it up. Then what I'm doing is, okay, June 1st, I will be free and I will go out. So what will I do? What should I do? What is my plan for my teaching career? What is my plan for my social media initiative? You can say, what is your plan for your social gathering? What is your plan for your job? Now, when you have something engaged on a daily basis, you won't be negative because you are engaged. One of the things is why people are negative is because they do not engage or find it difficult to engage themselves with something or something they feel valuable and value. So approach the thing from an attitude perspective, understanding what it is, and then how to deal with it. And when we approach things, we try to engage ourselves on a positive side. When it is over, every bad thing will be over. Every disaster will be over. When you look at history, then we may feel a little better. We may feel a little bit positive. We can affect the people around us to be a little bit positive as well. Then the world will be a better world. Then the community will be a better community. Now, that is how I deal with my life for sharing. See whether you agree or you have a different perspective, and we can talk and share. Thank you.
Thank you. I would also like to share my own journey. I would have thought I would like to do things differently. But when I look back and I say to myself, under those circumstances, that was the best that I could have done. So I think a lot of seniors spend much time regretting about the past, or feeling sorry for themselves, or wishing life had been better for them. But really, when we think about things and we tell ourselves, if somebody else was in my position, wouldn't they have done the same thing? So starting from that we don't have regrets about our past. We accept our past, and we accept ourselves, and we learn to love ourselves. To me, that is a very, very important journey we take in life. And once we accept and we love ourselves, we are able to love those around us. And when you show love to people, it's very automatic. You get love back. And that is where I think the positive vibrations around us are created. So now, with the current period that we are going through, I think it was good. Government announced yesterday that they're going to open up and ease the measures. So week by week, we will begin to see many of these restrictions lifted. And Carol, when you ask, how do I remain positive? I think it's important to have a belief. It doesn't matter what your belief is, or whether it's spirituality, or whether you're a free thinker, or whether you're a believer in a religion. But as long as we have a belief system, that belief system helps us to think that whatever is happening for a good reason, and the outcome will also be good for everyone. So that belief keeps me going. Even though in the darkest of nights, I feel that something good is going to happen tomorrow. I hope that answers your question.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I feel that I think you need to have some goals. So how I do it is, in the morning, I put down what I want to do throughout the day. And I think that keeps one going. Yeah, sometimes you can a bit lose your mind a bit, but I think that if you have goals and you keep it together, I think you'll be all right. So for me, I've actually learned to do online exercise, which I've never done in my entire life. And I continue to laugh about it. And it's okay, and I'm doing it. So I think it's a time that we need to look at the possibilities, rather than think of things that we're complaining that we can't do this, can't do that. But I think there's so many things that we can do. We need to start to reel ourselves in and look at how lucky we are. This is a partial lockdown, not a full lockdown, as it means that we still can go out. So it's still okay. We need to be thankful for a lot of things instead of complaining. That's my feeling about it. So I think if we look at a day more positively, I think we can get through it. We can still reach out to friends. It's not that we can't. We just reach out to them through a phone. So I think that it's not too bad if we look at things. You know, we should be thankful we're still alive, and that we can still do a lot of things.
Thank you, Eleanor, for sharing. I think the word goals is very important. They can be small goals, like cooking a new dish, for example, or learning how to use an online course, for example. But it's the small things that we then occupy ourselves, and then we don't get stuck on the small stuff. We look at the big picture. I think that's important. And somebody mentioned about learning and relearning. Yes, that's very true. We need to relearn some of our old knowledge and add new stuff to it. So there is a campaign on Ageless Online called What Are You Doing? You can get some ideas from there, Eleanor is suggesting. Anyone else has any question? Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question. Yes, come in.
Hello.
Yes, come
Good
in.
afternoon. I'm Joyce.
Yes. Hi,
Well,
Joyce.
I have quite a few things that was on my mind all along because I do part-time work. I'm already 69. But during this, and I do quite a bit of social work, like when we need masks within our condo compound. I got arrangement with the CC and got the masks all delivered internally, and we got it distributed. But I personally have a problem, which I couldn't solve my problem, which is sleep. I can never sleep for 8 hours. So this round, somehow I discovered that when I set my alarm to be in bed by 10:30, by 10:15, the alarm will start, mooting and telling me, okay, time to get to bed. First night, I was successful. I slept for about 6 hours. Last night, I was troubled by some things that upset me in the day. So I couldn't sleep again. So I slipped back into the same thing. But I think today, I'm going to settle it in a more positive way. Because what I did was during this period that I have the time at home, I feel a bit restless, but I spend a lot of time attending to my garden and also to my helper who has just come in, trying to speak to her in English when she cannot communicate. That was a bit of a problem for me. But I feel that I never feel that I'm old, never, because I got into a lot of things and I enjoy doing cooking. I had never had the opportunity to attend any cookery classes, but when I retired, I started gathering all the seniors who are within my neighborhood where they don't normally come out, they keep to themselves. So we started off with cooking. So I did my first dish of curry, which took me about a week to work out the portion. And finally we had it. And after that, we had monthly sharing where each one of us I started, most of the time when there are no takers, then I will do the preparation. Then everybody else will bring each item, each for tea. So that's how I had. And we had a very, very enjoyable time. And this round, I actually missed a lot of time. And I also organized walking. On every Saturday morning was our routine at 7:15. We'll meet and we'll walk to Bukit Batok. Then we go to the nearby market to have our breakfast. And then we disperse either walk back or take bus. So I think a lot of us can do many more things. In fact, we have to try. And
That's true.
We have to try. And sometimes we do fail. Sometimes you do get a lot of criticism. All sorts of things will come up. But I think if we have a positive thinking and willing to work with people, we will succeed and we will feel very happy.
Yes,
and I think
actually,
I like to share.
And at the end, all of us want to have a little bit of joy and a little bit of happiness in our lives. And someone posed a question: how do we help caregivers to encourage the seniors to come out and make new friends? Maybe this is a challenge that some caregivers face, that their loved ones who are seniors do not want to leave their comfort zone, do not want to come out and make new friends. Does anybody have an answer to that? You can type it if you want. Yeah, somebody says go out with them first. Yeah, so that they have more confidence. Maybe they lack confidence or they lack esteem because they cannot speak anything apart from their own mother tongue or their dialect. I remember my mother-in-law used to say, I don't like to go to the CC because everybody speaks Chinese or English and I'm not good at either of them. So she was one of those who felt shy of going to CC, but she was very active in her own ethnic community. So there are seniors who love to stay home. They are what we call homely type. They love to do household chores and they are reluctant to go out. But maybe we can invite some friends home for a start. Do it the other way around, you know. So once people start coming home and chatting with them, maybe they will be less shy. And then that may break that pattern. So it's quite difficult to break patterns that people have built over the years. What do you think, Ricky? Do you believe that people have patterns?
I believe that, but I look at that issue from another angle, right? So meeting new friends, what's the purpose of meeting new friends? I go back to my analysis. What is the purpose of making new friends? To seek company, to have somebody to talk to enjoy laughter, interest, right? So be it new or old may not be the issue. We just have to find somebody that we can talk with or talk to. Now, a true story. I come from Hong Kong. So years ago, before I came came to Singapore, there is a grandmother. It's a true story. There's a grandmother who was a little bit bored at home. So the granddaughter having a chat with them, saying that, well, Grandma, why are you so bored and thing? And then said, I don't have any friends and I don't want to talk, but nobody talk to me. So the granddaughter, I don't know how that happened, but the granddaughter later told me. The granddaughter asked about some of the friends that the grandma had years ago. And the granddaughter tried to search them on Facebook, tried to search them on social media. She did finally track 2 of her friends down. And they started to talk. And grandmother was so happy because, as you say, new friend, it takes time for us to build friendship. It's not easy to go and have a friend. Hi, I'm Ricky Law. How are you doing? And immediately we can share our joys and our sorrow. No, for adults, we really want to share our joys and sorrow. So the purpose of a friend, whether new or old, is to seek companion, somebody we can share our emotions with or talk to. So one of the things is we can help the senior to search or identify some of the old friends online. The second thing is I also shared this morning in another interview talking about the senior who live alone and who is not digital savvy, who doesn't know how to log on a conference tool. So I shared an idea which they think may be helpful. I said, older men don't know how to call, right? They have their mobile phone and then probably they have their landline at home. So how about encourage them to call friends they have never called 3 months ago, 6 months ago, or 9 months ago? Just calling them saying that, hi, I'm Ricky. Hi, long time no see. Well, there's nothing. I just want to say hello and see how are you doing during the circuit breaker. I don't think that the friend at the other end will scold you or will blame you or whatever. Then probably you two can talk. So in addition to finding new friends for senior, how about we encourage them to seek out old friends or old acquaintances in their address book, which they probably have not contacted for a very long time before. Well, that is one suggestion. If I divert a little bit to the sleeping issue, that is how I overcome the sleeping issue, and luckily I sleep quite well. Now my thinking of that one is, for instance, if I'm hard pressed for time, I haven't still finished the work, but it's already 12 or 1 a.m. or there's something bothering me and I don't know the answer. So I tell myself, hey, you have been considering it all day for 10 hours. You have been looking at a PowerPoint trying to do a presentation for the last 4 hours and your mind are blank and you don't have a solution to the issue, well, you have been worrying for 4 hours. So why don't you, I tell myself, why don't you go to sleep, have energy, wake up in the morning, have a breakfast, then when you have energy, you will be able, hopefully, to solve the issue and finish the presentation, rather than staying it behind, still thinking about it in the bed, rolling over here and there, because you have been spending the last 5 hours doing it to no avail. So why don't you sleep, get energy, get up in the morning, and do it again. Hopefully, the energy will bring you new ideas so that you can solve the issue. So that is how I tell myself. And luckily, I sleep quite well. Just a personal experience to share for your consideration. Thank you.
Yes. Somebody has mentioned that she read somewhere it takes 28 days to change a behavior. I think when people have built up their patterns over the years, it does take a lot of persuasion, a lot of patience to help them to evolve into a newer pattern or a newer way of doing things. And sometimes we may have been trying to persuade them in a particular way, and they know that you are going to tell them to do something. So maybe it's up to us as caregivers to change our approach and try and do it from another way, something that is a different way of explaining, or we don't ask them to change the behavior, but we get a friend of the senior to encourage them to change the behavior. So sometimes it is like, you know, similar to mother telling the child, don't do this, don't do this, do this. So the child stops listening. In the same way, maybe our seniors are also tired of listening to the caregiver saying, do this, don't do this. So getting a third party to tell them to do certain things in a certain way may be more effective. Try it. I'm not sure, but try it.
If I may share my perspective, I read about that as well. The 28 days to change a habit. I would like to add some pointers for sharing. So besides the time that it takes for you to change a habit, motivation is one important factor. I teach at university. So from an education perspective, we try to encourage and motivate the students to learn. Coming back to changing a habit, if we really want to motivate a person to change a habit, we need to be by their side and give little award, just like what we learn in the school, what we call the classic conditioning, right? When we train somebody, we need to let them know, wow, you're good. You have been improving and improving and improving. Now, give me one actual example, just happened about a week ago. So we were having the online free tool, but the online free tool only allows us for 14 minutes, then it will be gone. So it's not too good. So that is a friend of mine, I think it's 62 or 63, who goes to church, and he is launching what they call the small group discussion face-to-face, but now they cannot. So they resort to a conference tool. And he asked me to try with him because he wants to learn how to conduct a conference like what we are having now online, because he know nothing about it. So I'm kind of a guinea pig, I'm supporting him. So after a few tryouts, I said, wow, you are now an expert on online too. And he laughed so loudly that he subscribed to the conference too, paying $19 US a month. And you can see that right now he's so adaptive to the tool, and he is organizing not only for the church group, it's also organizing for our ping pong group. The dinner in the air, the every Saturday morning conference call is what his paid account. So one of the things we need to motivate by small reward, small reward. It's not a new discovery, but it is a very effective way, not only to motivate senior, also motivate ourselves. We have to treat ourselves well. If we have done something well, treat yourself or treat ourselves to a glass of beer, to a glass of champagne. And that's how we motivate ourselves to keep on doing things that we feel is the right way to do. So that is a little bit sharing.
Thank you, Ricky. That was really, really heartwarming, you know, because when people feel encouraged, what you are doing is actually you are nourishing their soul. And I believe that when we nourish somebody's soul, we ourselves are enriched in the process. And that is why volunteering has so many benefits, not only for the people that we try and help, but also there is a boomerang effect on ourselves, that we feel that we have also contributed to the larger social good. And there is a purpose to being alive. So many a time we begin to wallow in our own lives, and sometimes we feel very sorry for ourselves. But when we come out and do something different or learn something, even learning a new joke, for example, it really livens up our life. So there is a saying that I came across, and I'd like to share with you this. It was something that Lewis wrote. You are never too old to set a new goal or dream another dream. So many of us let age be our own barrier, and mentally we create our own barriers, when actually, if we remove that, the world is so big and so beautiful. There's so many things out there that we can do, not just for our family, but also for people whom we don't know at all. So dream a new dream, set a new goal, and like Ricky says, we have a mindset change, and our life changes totally from that day onwards. Do we have any other questions? Please don't feel shy. You can unmute yourself and introduce yourself and ask your question or share your story. We have 51 participants. So that's a lot of people. Is anybody ready to share their views? Yes, Jennifer? Would you like to add something, Jennifer? Or Lillian? I think Lillian has been quite active as well on the chat group. Lillian, do you want to unmute and say something? Some people are having difficulty unmuting their device. Somebody has said the ability to laugh at oneself. Actually, that is a very important point. We are so serious. Most of us are serious even about our leisure or even about our hobbies. But maybe we need to let go a little bit and look at ourselves with our limitations. I think that is an important reminder. Thank you very much. So somebody says, now is the time to chillax. Yeah, I know. Maybe circuit breaker is the time to chillax and not be taking everything to heart. Let's chill out a little bit and enjoy this time together. I have Sarah, David, Francis. Anybody want to join the conversation? Please feel free. Hi, Lillian. Do you want to say something? Hello. Hi, David. Hi, David. You want to say something, David?
Hi, want to add something?
Yes, please.
I'm 70 years old and I keep forgetting I'm 70. I'm always doing things I used to do when I was much younger. I could keep reminding myself, oh, better don't do this anymore.
So are you putting your own limits?
Well, like maybe I shouldn't be too strenuous, like going climbing or this kind of stuff, or trekking too long.
Right,
I injured myself, and then at our age we cannot afford to fall down.
Yes, I mean it's a balance, you know. You want to have fun, you want to enjoy the things you used to do, but I think it's good to take some precautions as well, so that our family members don't have to worry too much about us.
Yeah,
but don't put too
right.
many limits on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 72 as well, Ma, and I'm still I'm doing a lot of things that I used to do and enjoying my life. And my students often are surprised at the kind of things I do or say. But it's okay. I still want to be myself.
Yeah, still dress young, yeah?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. And like Ricky showed on his slides, that being young at heart and not putting limits on our mind, you know, of what we can do or what we are capable of doing. I know sometimes society keeps telling us, oh, you are now this age, therefore you can only do this kind of jobs or this kind of work. But I think we seniors have to support each other and say, no, if I want to do something, I will find my friends to do it with. Maybe I won't go alone for trekking. I will go with a few friends. So at least it's safe. And somebody said, don't let society define us. Very true. We need to define our own journey and not let society define it for us.
That's
Can I
right,
share?
I agree.
Yes, come in, Carol.
Okay, we speak first. Okay, let me share then. Thank you. I just want to share one perspective. If I may suggest, for people of a older age, when you approach things or when you decide or not whether to do it or whether not to do it, do not consider the age number. For instance, it doesn't matter you're 50 years old, 70 years old. I'm 63 years old, okay? So when we are approached with something new, when we want to do something, we ask ourselves, do we enjoy doing it? Do we like it? Do we want to do it? If the answers are positive, then we go and do it. But for instance, if it's kind of too physical, I don't want 4 miles. I want 4 feet. I always use an example, right? I'm part of the school soccer team when I was in Hong Kong. So I won quite a few medals. So now I really cannot run around in the field for 90 minutes. So I always talk about saying that, well, why can't we play a football game with 3 person or 5 person or whatever number of people are there? We divide into 3 versus 3, 5 versus 5, doesn't matter. Why do we have to follow 11 versus 11, 7 versus 7? And why do we have to play 45 minutes, 30 minutes? Why can't we play 10 minutes first half, kind of rest for 10 minutes and 10 minutes the second half? Why can't we do that? We only want to play football. We enjoy playing football. But Ricky Law cannot play 45-minute football. If I can play 10 minutes, it's the same as I played 45 minutes when I was 18 years old, representing my school to win a medal. So that is one example I always use to share with my senior friends. And some of the learning which I would like to share with you and see whether you you see the sensible. Well, so first of all, we follow the rules, right? We have to follow the rules to learn something. Then we break the rules. And ultimately, at senior, we create our own rules. Right? 45 minutes, 11 versus 11, we learn the rule. And then we break the rule, right? We go on the 5-person versus 5-person, 3-person versus 3-person, only playing for 5 minutes. Why not? I want to play football. I can only play 5 minutes. Why not? Then we create our own rules and discipline so that we can enjoy. After all, what is the purpose of playing football? Enjoyment. It doesn't matter 45 minutes. It doesn't matter 5 minutes. At 63, I don't want to fall. I don't want to go to hospital. I don't want to fight for football. I only want to enjoy playing football. So these are some of the mentality. These are some of the thoughts that I have in mind to share with you for your considerations.
Yes, maybe even call it a different game altogether. Why should it be football? Can't it be fun ball or some other name that you have created for your new game, right? That suits you and your friends. And it is safe, right? So most important is to not overstretch so that we risk our health. As long as we are safe, as long as we do it with some consultation with people around us, I think it's fine. I think too many seniors have lost the joy in life. They've stopped enjoying their life. So I think this whole talk by Ricky, and thank you so much everybody for joining us for today's webinar series. It's been really, really enjoyable listening to you all. And I would also like to thank the sponsors of this series, People's Association, Singapore University of Social Sciences, and Sports SG. Because of the partnership, this webinar series have been able to come to you. And thank you so much for spending this hour with us. With that,
thank you.
Ricky,
Bye-bye.
you want to say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody. I hope you had a good time. If you had a good time, please put a thumbs up. Thank you.